This is now where I sit for my morning vlog meeting. My trusty seat, the toilet, some lovely foliage. And then before going outside in the car, I like to, oh, fucking hell. That really hurt. I was about to say that I stick my head outside the window to check the weather. It's rainy, very rainy.
It's 68 degrees and there's a 30% chance that it's already raining.
So I ventured back to Canary Wharf to see Eliza, who's doing a training session today, and I've found the highest point of ground to locate her. Oi! Eliza! Eliza! Hi.
Hello.
Are we able to make it to the concrete jungle?
Potentially.
How long does it take to walk there?
Like 15 minutes.
Speed walking?
10 minutes.
I mean, look, I'm just here to warm you up for your training session. So why don't you kick off?
My training session is on the principles of persuasion. So they're like universal principles that apply in any setting really. There's like 6 that work in like any occasion, any environment.
What are the 6?
Reciprocation, scarcity, authority, commitment, likability, and there's consensus. There we go.
Oh my god, okay.
Yeah.
And they all work differently?
So we all have automatic behavioural responses, humans and animals. Basically there's so much stimuli around that we can't take in everything, so we have shortcuts, and these are our automatic behavioural responses. These principles are like ways of hacking into those to really persuade people to do a certain thing, and you see it in marketing all the time. Scarcity, for example, that's used quite a lot by brands.
Simply put, people want more of those things they can have less of. When British Airways announced in 2003 that they would no longer be operating the twice daily London-New York Concorde flight, sales the very next day took off.
There has been a scarcity of options for brands to spend money. Channels like ourselves have seen huge uplift, and social being one of the main channels that has seen a massive uplift of spend from brands as they've had to look to how they can get their audience out, the messages that they've been looking to get out over the last few years. And really it's jolted a lot of these big brands into action to digitalize what their offering is for their consumers. We're something that if you're looking to change something, if you're looking to do things differently, we can actually offer you something different. And I think that the scarcity of options available to marketers right now in a post and present COVID world, we are an option that most brands are looking for. And that's a really, really exciting thing for us going into the next 6 to 12 months.
I want to hear more about persuasion. What's another technique?
Another technique is consensus. So it's like following the crowd kind of mentality.
And that's a good way to know that something's good.
Let's say you go on the internet and you look at a restaurant and you see like loads of people lined up outside, and then you look at a competitor and you see a picture with nobody lined up in front of the restaurant. Which one are you more inclined to go to?
I'm not that patient, so maybe the one without the queue.
Because more people are lined up outside. So you see that one as being the best option. Authority is another principle. So an example is you're at a traffic light, it's red. You see someone rollerblading go past and go straight across. Then you see somebody in a suit that goes straight across when it's still red. Which one are you more likely to follow?
The suit man.
And why is that?
Because you assume that they are probably a rule follower and someone that's not going to get run over.
Exactly. Then fall back on your...
I want to ask what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box?
Sorry?
What's in the box?
Mops.
Mops?
Yeah.
See, I persuaded him to tell me what's in the box.
You did.
By being authoritative.
Yes.
And having a camera.
You had the camera. So one of like the other things that we should touch on is perceptual contrast. If you hold something light, then straight after hold something quite heavy, you automatically think that the thing is heavier than it is because you touch something light. And people do this a lot with pricing. So if you put a higher priced item first and then switch it to a price that's lower, you persuade them more to buy the lower priced one because of the perceptual contrast. You see that as a much cheaper and valuable item. So if you go into like a luxury brand store, they'll probably take you straight to the higher priced stuff first. You're a bit more like open to buying that little bit cheaper thing.
So the expensive stuff's the decoy.
Models on like billboards and stuff as well. It's another example of perceptual contrast. Have somebody who's like a very unattainable beauty and it makes you feel like quite crap about yourself. You compare yourself with that hugely beautiful person.
Obviously that form of marketing is frowned upon now, where not meeting beauty standards for normal people is kind of wrong.
There's also a 7th principle that's not included in the original 6 called unity.
It's like Pluto not being a planet, but we kind of think it is.
Where it's all about making people feel inclusive and part of a tribe or a community. And And that's kind of where you see that kind of really authentic marketing come into play, because you're now seeing people that are more representative of the normal human being, the normal human body. And when you do that, you're more inclined to then shop with that brand because you feel like you're part of that unity of that brand.
Amen to that. Oh, that is the way to travel in style. Let's catch up. Can I get in the back of your buggy?
No.
Oh, go on.
No.
My legs are really tired.
Bless, it's terrible.
You look
you don't want to, you walk quicker.
Walk
I assure
quicker.
you.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, let me have it. Oh. Jokes.